Today we're going to be cooking this beautiful vegetarian Tongseng. It's like a stir fry. We're using some local oyster mushrooms that have been harvested in Perth. So let's get started. We're making a fragrant rice today, so it's all about the herbs and the spices and the beautiful colour. First thing we're going to do, get our coconut oil, pop that in the pan. We've got some onion here, which has been really finely chopped. And we've also got 2 cloves of garlic. Give them a bit of a stir and cook them until they're nice and opaque and translucent. And we want a bit of caramelisation and a bit of colour on it. It's going to bring out the flavour of the onion and the garlic. We're going to get that straight in to the rice cooker pot now. Now this bit is really easy. We've got our 2 cups of washed rice here. So we're going to pour that straight in there with the onion, some ground turmeric, 2 star anise, and then we've got 3 cardamom pods, which I've kind of broken up a little bit. We're going to pop them straight in as well. 2 cups of water. Give that a nice stir just to mix the onion and the garlic through the rice. And get that straight in the rice cooker. I love cooking this type of Indonesian food. It brings me back to memories in Bali, all the flavours and the smells and the taste. It's just a really delicious, fun food to cook. So the rice is on, now it's time to get started on the mushroom part of the dish. We're going to get some oil and pop that straight into the pan there. So we've used peanut oil here today, but any oil will do. Grapeseed oil is really good. We've got our bumbu paste, which I've pre-made. A bumbu paste is a Javanese or an Indonesian spice mix, basically, is what it stands for. So it's a blend of herbs and spices blended into a paste. It can vary from village to village and dish to dish. Next, we've got some Kefir lime leaf, and you kind of want to just run this in your hands a little bit just to break it up and release the oils. You just pop that straight in. Lemongrass, so just give that a bit of a break and a bit of a rub as well. And we've got our galangal. So this is a really beautiful root. It's related to ginger. So when you're stirring this, it should turn into a thick paste. If you find it still a little bit loose, just add a touch of water just to combine it into a paste. So we're going to grab our coconut milk. I'm just going to pour that straight in. And we've got some brown sugar here as well. And this just adds to that real Asian style, sweet, sour, savoury element to the dish. Now if you're worried at this stage it's not going to look like it's going to coat the mushrooms properly, that's okay. We don't want the mushrooms swimming in the sauce. We want just a nice layer around the mushrooms. We've got a beautiful range of mushrooms here. These are all oyster mushrooms, all different kinds of colours and sizes. So I'm going to grab a bit of all of them and we're going to put them in the pan. So I'm breaking off these mushrooms, I'm popping them in whole. I love the texture of these oyster mushrooms. They're really chewy and delicious. If you want, you can chop them up a little bit smaller. But for me, whole, real hearty, almost like a vegetarian steak kind of thing. All right, so now we've got our mushrooms in there. We want to give that a nice toss and coat them really well. When cooking the mushrooms, if you have quite a range like I'm using today, it's best to keep an eye on them and make sure they don't overcook. It's all right for the bigger ones to look a little bit undercooked and have a nice crunchy texture, but we don't want the smaller ones to turn to mush. So the rice is now done. The mushrooms are almost there. It's time to finish them off. So the very last thing that we're going to add into the mushrooms is a little bit of kecap mayonnaise. So it's really important to add the kecap mayonnaise last in the dish. It's a really potent, sweet and flavoursome sauce. We really don't want it to overpower sort of the nutty, earthy flavours in the mushrooms. And then just toss that through really quickly, and then it's time to plate up. All right, grab our fragrant rice here into the bowl there. Just be careful when you're getting your rice. Obviously your cardamom pods and your star anise are still going to be in there. Do your best to find them and pick them out. The last thing you want to do when you're eating your dinner is bite onto one of those. We've got our mushrooms over here. So we're going to add a couple of garnishes on there. So we've got some tomato here, which we're just going to cut into some quarters. Let's put a couple of those there on the side. We've got some fresh chilli. Add as much or as little of this as you like. If you want more tomato and more chili, by all means. And then everyone's favourite herb, a bit of coriander there. And there we have it, a beautiful oyster mushroom tongseng with fragrant rice.